How you can harness your power now is what we can come down to being in reality. We really want to understand the power of strength and the power of purpose that can guide our actions in the leading way that we want to act upon them. And in order to do this, we must recognize where the true power lies and go to in that destination point, go in that direction, to field it, to flower it, to flume it, to do all the floomy doomy things. Let's talk about the Sun sextile Pluto on November 21st. First of all, before I get into the other aspects of astrology going on November 21st and 22nd. Okay, so November 21st, Sun sextile Pluto. There is a really, really strong need here to succeed. That's very strong. Another thing that's strong is that our confidence is strong. Our sense of authority is strong. We're feeling more level-headed. We're feeling more confident in our abilities. We're feeling more authoritative in how we put ourselves out there into the mainstreaming world. This is a time to assert our strength, to assert ourselves in the world. We may be easily influencing others, but you can make others want to follow you. It's so simple. All you do is you convince them you have the right dialect, you have the right words, you have the right everything. And you can convince them to go on your path. You can convince them to follow you. You have tremendous power over your environment. Recognizing the effects of this power is how you can truly harness and take advantage of this really plutonic energy. You may be interpreting messages from others now that may be possible. So, interpreting messages, getting signs, getting synchronicities. This is all very in full stuff. You may find that you're more determined, purposeful to achieve your goals. So this can be really, really positive. You are persistent when it comes to your goals. You have a goal and you know how to get to that end destination of the goal. You may have obsessive tendencies, but they may serve you now. You have tremendous power and influence over your environment. Recognizing this is very, very key. This is a time to use your power and influence to help others, not push others down, not push others out of the way, not shove others to the side, but to help support and uplift and encourage and motivate other people for their point of greatness, for harnessing their power. This is also a good time to look into learning about occult subjects as well. Another aspect going on is that we have the moon coming to a sextile with black moon Lilith. So, what does this mean? This means that this is a time which can make you feel more vulnerable than usual. It's a time to sit back, shut in the shadows, and be vulnerable. Be open to the feelings rushing at you. Be open to the outside influences. Be open to whatever emotion comes up. Really being in a soulful kind of way, not prideful, not above and beyond everybody else, but there is a humility to vulnerability. There's an innocence to vulnerability that we must drop into at this point now. Otherwise, what are we going to do? We're going to be fake. We're going to be all glam and no glitz. We're going to be all we have our stuff together, but we really don't. It's best to be authentic. And vulnerability is it's a huge part of authenticity. So if we want to be authentic, and that is our true path, then we must be vulnerable. We must learn that it's okay to be vulnerable. You may have greater knowledge base of other people's motivations. You may know their whys, their hows, their do, their dots. The reasons of why they do the things that they do. What are the real intentions behind what they actually do? Forming, mutilating in what yourself stirs up for what your life can really add to the mixture party. But it's really, really about understanding your motivations and understanding other people's motivations. Are their motivations for their highest good, for their greatest weakness or downfall? That must be evaluated. Influence, convince other people not to do it if the motives are not based on what's in their highest good. How do you tell? Well, you intuitively tell. Make sure that those people put their motivations in the stock exchange and their motivations are going to serve their highest good. This is really, really critical now. This is critical that other people are sort of organized in a kind of way where they're not dishing around kind of thing. So intuition may give guidance to you. So it's important to be receptive to the guidance that your intuition gives you and go on that path. You may feel more you may feel more fearless and more in your power. This is time to be in your power and be not afraid to reject society. Be not afraid to say no when you truly mean no. Being unafraid to be your true self, to embrace your own shadows, to have your own little personality. In my case, it's the sharer, the data collector, the intellectual person. In your case, it might be the mother, the nurturer, or the mystic. People reject you for expressing your Lilith, and you may also deny this part of yourself. But when you can own your shadow, and when you can go about it in a well balanced and unapologetically authentic way, you can live the life you truly desire. If you want to know what your purpose is, Lilith is a very, very good place to look for that. You may find that your creative juices are getting others around, putting others in their dish tapes. You know, really understanding your creative prowess, your creativity, your creative mind, your creative atmosphere, your creative juncture in life. This is the time to follow your intuition, not dismissing it, but listening to it and considering it legitimate. This is not a time to dismiss your intuition and say, nope, I'm just going to roll into my ego. No, your intuition is there to give guidance for you to follow the guidance. Your intuition won't take over. You have free will, but don't dismiss the intuition because when you roll up to your ego mind, you lose your spiritual connection to all that is. You lose your connection with your innate wisdom keeper, which is your intuition. So stick with your intuition. Go on the intuitive path. Do that because if you do, you'll not be sorry for it. So another thing here is that other people might flock to you for support and insight. as a source of giving wisdom and guidance to other people, to give suggestions, to give words of wisdom, to give words of truth to others. How much are you willing to give? That's the question. This is time to express your intuitive side out into the world unapologetically. If you're a sixth sensory and you feel blocked by other people who do not get you, now's the time to just go against the grain and be yourself and put yourself out there and follow your vibes, trust your intuition, going, I don't need to explain this to you. I just know it because it doesn't feel right. That's all you need to say. There's no explanation needed, no resume needed, no vendettas needed, just the true, honest answer. This is how I feel. This is the direction I'm going in. As simple as that. Now, on to another section of this video. I did pull cards from the Mystical Shaman Oracle by Colin Baron Reed, Alberto Villoldo, and Marcelo Lobos. And the card that I pulled is the card for November 21st. When I was preparing for this video, I asked a question to the Oracle cards. What does the collective need to know on November 21st? And the card that I got is completion. Card number 9. Card number 9, completion. So this represents multiple things in your life coming to a close, a culmination. Things are coming to a close. You may find that there's no more growth left to learn in a certain area of your life. There's no more lessons to learn. You can't expand anymore. You've sort of gone through the gamut of all the lessons that you've had. So now it's time to graduate from that and move on to the next level, move on to a new path, move on to a new trajectory. Before you do, acknowledge and celebrate the endings of your life. Acknowledge the endings, then start again, moving on a brand new path in a brand new direction. That's the wisdom here. You can figure out how that applies to your own life in whatever ways that does. Moving on to November 22nd. So the very, very first aspect happening on November 22nd is we have the moon trining Mercury, first of all. So this is a beautiful aspect for sharing your emotions through the act of speaking or writing them out. This is the time to express them. This isn't the time to keep them bottled up or hidden inside you. This is the time to make them conscious. This is the time to embody those emotions in really healthy ways through expressive means. That's what this is about. So you may find that your words and thoughts have the power to positively impact somebody else. You may say something, you may have a thought, you may have an idea that actually has a positive impact on someone else in your life. There is this great desire to deeply connect with others to enhance them as well. This is good for connecting in diverse ways with others, with diverse kinds of people. Any feminine relationship, any female relationship can be very nurturing to you now. It's important to balance sharing your thoughts, balance sharing your thoughts, and then balance it out with listening to others. And what are you overdoing? Are you not sharing enough or oversharing? Evaluate that and balance those two things out. This is the time to become more intimate with other people as well. You might find that your social confident nature and warm versus nurturing and soft touch side, the masculine and feminine are more in balance at this time. So you can express confidence, exuberance, radiance with compassion, unconditional love, tenderness. So you can really balance out and express all of these qualities now. This is also the time to build strong familial foundations. Now, another aspect today on November 22nd is Venus will sextile Saturn. So this increases your need for companionship. This really, really does make the need to connect with other people in meaningful ways really, really strong. Connections can be karmic, and the connections that you make have divine timing attached to them. You are in this relationship at this proper time, which is the right time. There may be someone older in your life that may act like a father figure as well. This is the time to align yourself with traditional values. This is a time to want to feel loved and supported, but it must be true love. It can't be just shimmy, shimmy love. It has to be authentic, real, unconditional love. The cream of the crop kind of love. It can't be with nitpicking. It can't be with nagging. It can't be with expectations of how you want the other person to be. It has to be true love. And discernment is key here. Discerning which relationships have true love in them and which don't. And choosing to keep the relationships where there is true love involved. And choosing to delete the relationships where there's not true love involved. Or talk about solutions or change things up to make sure that that relationship is true love. Preferably, you want to make all your relationships true relationships. That's what you will strive to do now. So, this is about making others content a huge focus. This may be a really, really huge focus. Because of the people maybe jockeying their things around. Maybe other people may be complaining and in an uppity mood about things. Now is the time to make sure that people in your life are feeling content and well taken care of. You know, doing things where you show that you genuinely care for them is what this aspect calls for. Relationships must be in place for the long term. They must be committed relationships. They can't be one night stands. They can't be temporary long distance relationships. They have to be close. They have to be intimate. They have to be long lasting and solid relationships that can stand the test of time. So, another thing to look at is if your finances will support your long-term goals or not. So this is about receiving practical guidance from a friend or a family member. What is the guidance coming at you that is practical, that is down to earth guidance that you need to sort of take into your system? You can find that old friends from the past can re-enter your life, can come back into your life for healing or resolution. You can find this to be the case. There may be a huge age difference between you and your partner. Um, there may also be a teacher and student relationship where you are the student and they are the teacher, or vice versa. So there may be a practical and common sense approach to relationships that could come about. This is about using your creativity with detail and organization. Really being creative, but being detailed and organized. This is also good for business. Another aspect going on is we have the moon square Uranus. So this creates a need for liberation, need to rebel against those who force you and tie you down to do something. If people are putting you in a corner, forcing you to do something in a certain way, you want to rebel against that. You want to do your own thing. Your instincts may not be accurate, so it's good to be aware of that. It's good to also avoid making huge, significant changes in your life. If you're considering making those changes, I would wait it out till later on when this aspect passes because the clarity might not be there. You might act on impulse, do something really, out of the blue spur of the moment, and you might regret it later. So, this is not the aspect to really make big changes in your life. You can make little changes, not the big changes. You can find that commitments are very difficult to keep up if you want to doodle ding over to, one area and another. You can find that to be the case really, really strongly. There may be emotional outbursts from friends and family as well, so people can be very reactive, very outspoken. You may be distracted by anything new and shiny, which makes this a bad time for boring routines and duties. If you have a boring routine or pattern of routine or duty, this is the time to let that go and form new ways of going about your life, form new objectives, new goals, new projects that you're initiating and following through on preferably. So Uranus is square with the moon. Uranus is the unconventional, moon is the emotional bit. So Uranus is shaking up your emotional foundations now. You can find that there are conflicts with women in your life, female figures in your life, as you want freedom from them. This is the time to get out of your comfort zone as well. There is a need for freedom at all costs. This is about not being confined to do something in a certain way that is your obligations and duties. Know that you may unconsciously rebel against any restrictive structure in your life. If there's any limiting structure or uh, aspect of your life, then you may feel very, very strongly like you want to rebel against this thing. You want to go against this thing. You want to puncture it out. You want to purple it out. This is the kind of thing that requires stamina and wrestling. It really, really comes down to your actions, and it really comes down to how you utilize this energy. Relationships may be unconventional at this time. You may find that your relationships are sort of out of the box relationships, not the norm relationship. This is what you can find embracing these quirky, dorky kinds of relationships. It's important to remain flexible and open to change that can come at you. And it's important to break free from emotional patterns that have held you back. So, it's really, really important to, break free from whatever emotional pattern is hindering you from your growth in your life. So, this is a time to look at the truth of what has to change in your life and looking at what you've suppressed, looking at the changes that you have to make and making those changes. This is about letting go of emotional baggage as well. You may find that you have mood swings at this time. There's a need for stimulation at this time as well. Now, we have the last quarter moon in Virgo on November 22nd at 1 degree of Sagittarius in Virgo. So the sun in Sagittarius, the moon is in Virgo, they will meet together at 1 degree of their signs. So you want to look if you have 1 degree of the signs Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, or Virgo in your natal chart to see how this will be impacting you based on your own personal chart. So this is occurring on November 22nd. This is preparing us for the new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st. So it's important to take stock of where you already are in your life. This is a time to clean up and organize your life because we're talking about Virgo energy. So decluttering, putting things into order, putting things into balance, into a certain structure, an efficient system. This is what this is asking you to do. So this last quarter moon, as I've said before, Virgo and Sagittarius are mutable signs, meaning that they are changeable. They're high energy signs. They're always moving. They're always wanting to change and be action oriented. And they're very adaptable signs. Even Virgo can be very adaptable. And there's a freedom to mutable signs as well. Sagittarius, the archer, puts its sights in the future. I want to accomplish this goal. I want to go to this place and do this thing. I want this. I want that. Always setting its sight very optimistically on the next best thing. But Virgo can help ground Sagittarius into the present moment. Because it's very earth energy. It's very present moment awareness is what that is. So Sagittarius aims for big things. Virgo is practical, productive, and diligent. Sagittarius can be erratic and ungrounded if it wasn't for Virgo to ground the wild stag um, sun core energy. So Virgo deals with health, service. It helps to make Sagittarius realistic and practical. Um, so um, Virgo looks on uh, perfecting flaws or improving its surroundings. It always wants to improve its surroundings. It always wants to make it the best it can be. Virgo also rules routines, your daily routines of how you take care of your physical and mental well-being. And this is not a time to overwork yourself, to overdo the working and the efficiency and the goals and all of that, but to allow yourself time to relax, take breaks, go for a walk, meditate, do all those things that are self-care oriented. The card that I pulled for this day on November 22nd is the card The Beloved. So this is truly about opening your heart to love and being open to receive love that other people um give you, show you, whether it be words of affirmation, whether that be just doing you a favor, catching you off glimpsings, hanging something up for you on your wall, whatever the loving, caring action may be open to that and acknowledge that in your life. This is also a reminder to put yourself in a strong bond under with another and you will expand. So bonding strongly with another person in strong astringent kind of ways, really bonding with somebody, forming loving relationship, getting to know them on a deeper emotional level, and forming a loving connection with them. This is what this is about. So that is it, everybody. That is your astrology and oracle readings for November 21st and 22nd. Leave me a comment down below what you think of this video. Like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.